Okay, I just wanted to welcome all of you guys to the Essential Oils 101 class. This is not meant to go deep into recipes or every single oil on the planet. The idea behind doing a class like this is just to give you a really basic overview so that if you're someone who's taking a look at essential oils, or if you're someone who has some essential oils that you just got started with the starter kit collection, that you have some ideas about how to use them, or even some resources of where you go and find some more answers. So I'm just going to go through some of the basic kind of stuff here. I'm obligated to do some sort of a disclaimer because, now I'm going to change one thing. I'm not a physician. I don't even play one on TV. And so I can't be prescribing and diagnosing anything for you or for anyone. And anything that I'm saying is really intended, it's not intended to diagnose, to treat, to cure, or prevent any kind of diseases. And any information that I'm providing is, of course, for educational purposes only. So this is a little image. Can you guys see the whole screen? Nod yes or no, or is my image, okay, because that's just me that's being blocked. This is an image that I found that I felt really represented my little journey. So I'll tell you very quickly about where I came from. So I started out almost 11 years ago with, my kids were young, they're teenagers now, about preschool, kindergarten age, and they had really, really horrible chronic health issues, asthma and allergies. And I just felt like their health was going in the wrong direction. So we started getting some help with some alternative healthcare practitioners. And we started looking at things like what could possibly be in our environment that keeps irritating these kids and their body systems and their immune system. And come to find out, it was like their perfumes I wore, and body lotions, and shampoos, and laundry detergent, things I was cleaning my house with. So, and then it turned out that there were a lot of foods that were also a source of irritation in their body that would kind of create some of that cascade that triggered some of their immune responses. Then, once we kind of had a handle on some of that kind of thing, we realized, I started looking at, you just start reading about these kinds of things. And I realized, well, gosh, now I need to start doing things to support their bodies. And that's what led me on the path to discovering about Young Living and essential oils and supplements and just all of that kind of thing. So I really believe we were kind of encased in block. And then after we started going on this journey, it's like we were freed. So I like that little image. Big question a lot of people have: who is this company, Young Living, and what's the big deal about them? There are a lot of other essential oil companies out there, and why is Young Living, saying they're the world's greatest essential oil company? Well, one of the cool things about Young Living is they've got kind of a neat mission, or at least in my opinion, I think it is. And they're really big about honoring the stewardship of the earth. They want to take care of the earth. So when we say that we have farms, or that we're harvesting things, we're not leaving the earth bare. It's really, there's always a replantation process, especially anything that's a tree, and everything that they do is green. In fact, there's going to be a big, huge new headquarters place that everything about it is like cutting edge green technology. It's going to be unbelievable. But anyway, it's all about healing and discovery while inspiring individuals to wellness, purpose, and abundance. This is up at the top there, that guy. He is Gary Young, and he's the founder of Young Living. And he's got a pretty interesting journey. You guys, I won't spend a whole lot of time here because I want to get to talking about essential oils. But I would encourage you to go and just kind of read about his journey on Seed to Seal or on the Young Living website, because it's been a pretty fascinating thing. And one of the things that he says is that we're not really, when we strengthen the body instead of doing things to weaken it, then we're doing in a lifestyle that's going to really be supporting the body in energy, or just feeling good after we've eaten meals. So essential oils really aren't medicine. So a lot of people try to act like they're medicine, especially if they're coming from the Western medical model, because we're so used to treating symptoms of everything. And what we're really about is getting the body, we're designed perfectly, right, already. So the idea is that when we're functioning properly, and normal is supposed to be when everything's functioning how it's supposed to be. There's all kinds of checks and balances in the body. And so when we can get the body to functioning properly, then life can get pretty good. So that's what the oils do. They just kind of help maintain and support healthy function. So what's an essential oil? This is a common thing. It's not something that's greasy that you're going to feel like you're going to be slipping and sliding all over the place. When you put an essential oil on the skin, you're going to notice that it kind of absorbs right into the skin really nicely. It's not going to leave a greasy residue on you. They're incredibly potent. Volatile means that they kind of, they bounce into the air and they can be detected through our olfactory system pretty easily. Where do they come from? They always come from plants. Are all plants essential oils? No, not all plants can be essential oils, but all essential oils definitely come from plants. It could be any part of the plant. It could be the bark. It could be a flower. It could be some of the leaves. It just depends on the plant. And then when it comes to potency, when people use some of what we call the cheaper or the lower quality essential oils because they're trying to save money and they don't understand that there really is value in getting pure essential oil, a lot of times they find that they have to use 10 to 15 drops in their diffuser in order to create the aroma or to get the benefit, compared to Young Living, where maybe 1 to 3 drops is going to be potent and powerful enough to do it. So there really is a tremendous difference when you're talking about quality. And in most cases, an application is about 1 to 2 drops, which is kind of cool. And Young Living, of course, always has control of the essential oils or the product from the time that they choose. They're really particular about choosing the right seed to go in the right ground. And they watch that whole process all the way until it's been harvested and distilled and put into an essential oil bottle where we buy it from Young Living. They have complete control over all of that. And this is what they call the seed to seal promise. And you can really trust our oils and that they are what they say they are. And you can go to seed2seal.com. That's seed2seal.com. And you can learn so much more than, we would spend time here talking about. And when it comes to me and the way that I want to interact with any company in the modern world, there's so many companies out there that they're really excellent at marketing, but then when I start reading labels or I find out the kinds of practices that they might have, it really is disappointing. So I would prefer to vote with my dollar and choose companies that I know that they behave ethically, morally, and they are completely transparent. To me, any company that's willing to open their doors wide and let me go see what they do and how they do it is one that I'm going to give my dollars to. So that's kind of another reason why I ended up staying with Young Living. This is just a good point because you can use all the essential oils. You could pickle yourself in essential oils, but if you're eating at McDonald's and you're cleaning with some toxic cleaners and slathering your body head to toe with things that are synthetically based and have petrochemicals in her and endocrine disruptors, you're only going to get so far. So we're not just an essential oil company. We're definitely one of the best essential oil companies in the entire world, but we have so much more to offer because it's really about a lifestyle and in getting to a healthier lifestyle. You can't talk about essential oils without talking about the part of the brain that's called the limbic system, because when we smell an essential oil, it goes up in through the nose and then it gets carried to the part of the brain that's the limbic region, which is where all of our memories and our emotions are stored. And that's why realtors tend to they'll bake cookies, and because they want you to walk in the door, smell that cozy, homey cookie smell before you're even registering what's on the floor or what color paint's on there or what color are the drapes or anything like that. You're calmed down and feeling cozy just through your sense of smell. Well, certain plants have different personalities, and that personality could be invigorating or energizing to the body, or it could be something that the body recognizes as a signal to just relax and tone everything down. And all of this happens through our olfactory system. And so that's kind of one of the cool features. I think it's we're not going to spend a lot of time because you can do an entire class on animals and essential oils, and I think that's something that we'll do in the future. But it can be very surprising to a lot of people who are new to essential oils in how animals interact. Think about it. Animals interact with plants all the time. So you can use essential oils on everything from cows, horses, ducks, goats, dogs, cats. I mean, literally any animal out there. They're so smart about what oils. They will let you know. They will turn away or move away if it's not something that they feel like their body's needing right now. And since I mentioned pets and oils, I might as well address something that's a really big and misinformation out there about essential oils in cats, because there are a lot of blogs and stuff out there that say that essential oils are toxic and dangerous for cats. Well, do you really think that a cat's going to sit up close and personal next to a diffuser inhaling something that's toxic and dangerous for them? It's not going to happen. So, and here's an example. This is a real cat and a real diffuser, and that cat is trying to get as close as possible. And I'm not a cat owner, but I have lots of friends who have cats, and they use essential oils with the cats all the time. Oops. Here's another one. This is another dog that's like up close and personal on that diffuser. And they're not going to stay in the room. The thing that you want to keep in mind, there's kind of a rule of thumb. You want to give the animal the choice. So don't put a diffuser in a small space and lock the animal in with the diffuser. You want to make sure that the animal can get out of the room once they've had what they need to have. So when they've had enough, they need to be able to get free and get away from whatever is diffusing. I mean, this dog totally looks like an oil addict. Now, when people first start using essential oils, they're pretty amazed by how potent and powerful the Young Living oils are. And they start kind of thinking like this, like, oh, I'm fine, my wife has an oil for this. And once you start researching essential oils, you're going to understand how something like this silly t-shirt kind of came to be. I mean, obviously, we want you to have common sense and get medical help just through common sense wherever you would. So what are some of the things that we can do to use essential oils? Well, here's a great example. You could use it for a soothing bath for yourself as an adult, or even for babies. They're great for helping you get a great night's rest, especially like kiddos, help kiddos get off to dreamland naturally. Another thing is non-toxic cleaning. And this is, essential oils are really unbelievable when it comes to cleaning. They're very cost effective, and they are seriously better smelling. They're the better smelling way to clean your home. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that toward the end. Essential oils, certain ones, when you smell them, they can kind of perk you up and wake you up, like peppermint. And just simply breathing in an essential oil kind of clears out some of the cobwebs. And of course, essential oils are great for situations when you're just feeling overloaded in life and there's just too much going on. It's like if maybe you don't have time to go to that hour-long yoga class. I'm not saying oils are going to replace yoga, because don't misunderstand me. But if you just have a really short period of time and you pull out an oil and you just smell it, or you put a drop in your hands, rub your hands together and smell it from that, it's almost like hitting a reset button sometimes on a really rough day. Let's talk quickly about safety and essential oils. There are some essential oils that when you apply them topically, they can feel warm on the skin. If that ever happens to you, then what you would do is you're going to put a carrier oil on. And I'll talk a little bit more about carrier oils. But what a carrier oil is going to do is it's going to immediately take that heat out. So sometimes, like one of the more common situations that tends to happen is maybe someone will be putting peppermint on their head or the back of their neck or something, and they forget that they've got peppermint on the tips of their fingers, and then they go to rub their eye and they're like, ah! So what you would do is not use water. Water is actually a driver, so it's going to drive those essential oils in deeper, which in a second I'll give you an example of when that would be a good thing. But in this case, what you want to do is cut that heat, and you would take coconut oil or grapeseed oil, or even avocado oil, olive oil, or like V6 oil that Young Living has too. So just something that's a fatty vegetable oil is what's going to cut that heat. When would you want to use water? So let's say you're applying essential oils over the chest. You might use a hot, moist compress in order to help drive those oils in. Or like when you do the raindrop technique, after you've applied all those oils along the spine, you put a hot, moist compress along the spine to help drive those oils in. So that would be one example of when water or moisture would be used with purpose with essential oils. So let's talk quickly about carrier oils. They could be used for diluting. What do we mean by diluting? Well, diluting, if I am an adult, and 1 to 3 drops is a good amount for me to use on most applications. What are we going to use on an infant or a small dog or a toddler? Well, they don't need as much. So how do we control if 1 drop is all that comes out at a time out of the bottle? Well, what you could do is you could put a little bit of carrier oil, maybe just like a dime size amount or teaspoon amount, in the palm of your hand, add your drop of oil, and then you would take some from there and apply that to the infant or to the animal. And that way you're able to control how much you're actually giving the little being. You can use coconut oil, sweet almond oil, grapeseed. You get the idea just from the slide that there's so many different options that you can use for that. And when you're in doubt, let's say you've forgotten everything that I've said today, every single bottle of essential oil is going to come with some instruction telling you what it is that you're going to do with it. So something that sometimes people don't realize is the oil label bottles. They peel back and they give you a little bit extra information on there. So that's always a good rule of thumb. Another thing is people don't realize, they think that they have to shake the bottle in order to get the drops of oils, but actually there's a little kind of a milky white plastic thing on there that's called an orifice reducer. And what that does is it controls the oil so that the whole bunch doesn't come out at once. And there's a tiny little hole in there that kind of sucks in the air. And when that comes, then you can tilt the bottle like that, and then one drop will come out at a time. And then you've controlled that. Oh gosh, that was thieves. That smells really good. So that's one little tip. That way you're not wasting your oils, because some oils have different viscosity. That means the thickness of the liquid. And some come out like water really fast, and others you feel like you're waiting there all day long for that drop of oil to come out. So let's start talking about essential oils. Most people know lavender. It's kind of like the gateway essential oil. It's the Swiss Army knife of essential oil because of how many uses that it has. This is one that a lot of people will put that one in the diffuser first, or Stress Away, and I'll talk about that one later. This is a good one. Put it in your diffuser at bedtime tonight. Sit that diffuser up, and since we're talking about the diffuser, I'll just give you an example. This is the Dewdrop diffuser, and how you use that is you take that off, and you can see that little red dot right there. That's the water fill line. Sometimes people think, well, I want to add even more water than is in the fill line because I want it to go longer. Don't try to do that, because it's all set up for it to go like this. When you overfill it, sometimes it just won't work properly, and then you got to dump the water out, and then you feel like you wasted your oils. So pay attention to the fill line, and then you just put that back on, put the lid on, you press the button, go, and it's going to shut itself off, which makes it really nice that you don't really have to think about that. So back to lavender. When I think of this oil, I really think of skin. It's a really mild oil, so it could be applied directly to the skin without worrying about it. We have a lavender vitality oil, and what vitality means, so Young Living has come out with different labels, and actually I've got a thieves example just to confuse you. So one is the white label. Those are going to be your vitality oils, and then you'd have the other colored label. This one is labeled for taking internally, meaning that it could be taken as a dietary supplement. And this is in order for Young Living to adhere to the FDA guidelines on labeling, because they get the FDA gets a little confused about having people be able to take it internally as well as apply it topically or use it to smell it aromatically. So all of our oils that have vitality mean that the white label mean that you can take them internally. What's the difference in the content between this thieves oil and the thieves vitality? Absolutely nothing. The content of the oil that's in the bottle is exactly the same oil. It just has a different label in order to meet the guidelines in the United States. So we have lavender vitality, we have regular lavender oil, and they are the same essential oil. Just wanted to let you know about that. So one popular combination with lavender vitality is to take that one internally, especially in the springtime, is to combine lavender with peppermint and lemon. And the nickname that we have for that is called LLP. Lavender, lemon, and peppermint. You can diffuse those three together. You can create a roller ball just for quick application. And some people will put them in a clear capsule and take them internally. And one of the things that I like to do is I'll make honey with it. But lavender is really great. It's a calming, soothing essential oil. It can uplift the mood. It can help you focus better. There's been some studies on lavender and helping with focus. I like to combine lavender, frankincense, and copaiba, which also comes in the starter kit. And by the way, we're talking about a collection of oils that Young Living puts together for new members that's called the Premium Starter Kit, which contains everyday essential oils. And these are 11 essential oils that are so versatile. They could be used for so many different things. It's not like one oil does only one thing. They could be used for a lot of different things. And so lavender is one of them because it's so versatile. Great one for kids, great one for moms. So I combine lavender, frankincense, and copaiba with some jojoba oil, and I make a really great skin serum. Another way that you could use lavender, and this is something that I do when I travel, especially if I'm going to be going on a vacation where we're going to be spending some time outdoors, like camping or at the beach. I'll just take an empty spray bottle. When I get to my destination, I'll fill it with some clean water, and I'll add drops of lavender, and then I just shake it, and we'll spray down everybody after we've cleaned up for the day, and it's so refreshing to the skin, and the skin totally loves it too. So Peppermint Vitality, or just peppermint oil, this is one that you smell and it's like you immediately feel more alert and a little bit energized from this one. It's just such an invigorating aroma. So if you think of lavender as kind of like the relaxing aroma, peppermint's kind of the wake you up aroma. It's really energizing. It's one that a lot of athletes tend to use before workouts. I definitely use it before workouts. I use it during workouts, and I often will put that in my workout water bottle. Just one drop is plenty for my entire water bottle. It's such a really potent and a strong oil. I think that you'd probably be like, ooh, I think I overdid it if you added 2 drops to your water. One of the things that it does that's kind of cool is it helps deliver oxygen into the body, especially when we're doing things like lifting weights or working out. And we really want a lot of oxygen to go into those muscles. And there are some great studies on college athletes on how peppermint does this to delivering the oxygen to the blood and our organs. It's also one of our top digestive oils. So a lot of people are familiar with peppermint tea, and you'd have to drink a heck of a lot of peppermint tea. I think they say it's like 20-some cups just to equal 1 drop of peppermint essential oil. Some people will use it to kind of stop having some cravings. So they'll, their desire to snack, just the smell of peppermint is something that they use that for. It's great for minor stomach type things. It just really overall supports healthy digestion. And if you are feeling like, if you're a lady and maybe you get all hot and bothered, you're at that age where you get all hot and bothered, try adding a drop of peppermint oil to your hands and then just rub it on the back of your neck and maybe the tips of your ears and your wrists. Smell it. Always. You never waste an essential oil. You always want to make sure that you're applying it topically. And you just notice right away sensation that peppermint's going to bring to your skin and your body. It just feels so wonderful. Okay, let's talk about lemon. Lemon is I call this the happy oil because when I smell anything citrus, it just puts me in a really good mood. And they've done a lot of studies on how people respond to the aroma of the citrus and lemon. It's the one that most people tend to add to water, and this is something that can help people start drinking more water instead of maybe some juices or sodas or some other things if they're wanting to move toward water, but water seems so boring to them. And it offers a little gentle detox. It's refreshing, it's uplifting, it just smells happy. So you could drink your water with just a drop of lemon. It also is going to do things like help balance the acids and the pH, which is something that's pretty important for your immunity and to help you break down your foods. Now remember, if you're going to be adding essential oils to your water bottles, you want to make sure that you are not using plastic. You want to be using stainless steel or glass, because what some of these essential oils do is they can literally break down anything that's made from petrochemicals. It just attacks and breaks down plastics and literally eat it. And so imagine if you had a plastic water bottle and it's breaking it down, then you go to drink it, now you've just been drinking a lot of plastic and their body doesn't need that. Lemon's great to diffuse. It's a good mood lifter. If you want to brighten up the room, then diffuse lemon. It's also one that's really good. It's powerful for circulation and the the lymphatic system. So like up in the neck and under the arms, that lymphatic system is kind of the trash can system of the body. And some of the body's trash gets pushed here, like when we do daily movement and that kind of thing. And what lemon, and there's another oil called lemongrass, does is it just kind of keeps those fluids all nice and smooth and able for the lymphatic to kind of squeegee that out when we do that movement. Okay, so let's go on. Oh yeah, this is a real picture. This is, these are some Boy Scout pants, and one of my sons came back from a camping trip one time, and he had chewed bubble gum in his pocket. Like, who does that? Puts chewed bubble gum back in their pocket? Apparently my kids. And I used lemon oil with just my fingernail. I just put a couple drops on and started scraping, and it came right off. I have a friend, and she had her daughter get gum stuck in her hair, and she used lemon oil to help get the gum out of the kid's hair. So lemon's pretty potent for getting any gooey, sticky stuff out. Let's talk about Thieves. Thieves is the #1 seller essential oil in Young Living. It's so popular because of how effective it is. So when you think of the immune system, I want you to think of Thieves. And this is a blend. The blend has cinnamon, clove, rosemary, eucalyptus, radiata, and lemon in it. And when we blend essential oil, so what's a blend versus a single oil? A single oil is just the plant. So lavender is just lavender, lemon's just lemon, eucalyptus is just eucalyptus. But when you have a blend, it's like a combination of essential oils that come together. Instead of single instruments, it becomes a symphony. And now when they come together, they have this synergy, and they can do something different altogether than maybe they would be able to do on their own. It's got clove oil in there, and if you look this oil up, it has the highest antioxidant level of any essential oil that's ever been studied, period, ever. And antioxidants, we know, are really great for immunity. So you're going to want to remember that when we talk quickly about Ningxia Red in a little bit. It's got the lemon that we talked about, of course, the cinnamon, all those other oils, eucalyptus, rosemary. This is a warmer oil. So if you're putting this one on topically, you might want to dilute it, depending, unless you're a person who's discovered you're perfectly fine with that. One place that you could put it is on the bottom of the feet. We've got more layers of skin on the bottom of the feet. And also we've got pores that can absorb it up into the body, all those meridian points, also base at the bottom of the feet too, which makes it another good reason to apply oils on the feet. Thieves is also great for healthy teeth and gums. You might want to check out, we have a whole toothpaste that is based out of Thieves. So we're thinking Thieves, we're thinking the immune system. Diffusing Thieves can help boost immunity, and it can help your body do the best that it can, especially during those months where you're kind of burning the candle at both ends, like in the wintertime, there's just a lot going on. So let's talk about diffusing just for a second, because sometimes people think that diffusing is like the weaker way to use essential oils versus taking them internally or putting them on topically. And maybe because we feel it more when we put it on topically or when we ingest them. But one thing to keep in mind is that we're breathing in those oil molecules when they're into the diffuser, or even if we're smelling them from our hands, or maybe we have a diffuser necklace where we're smelling them from, or something simple and quick, just smell it right from the bottle. That's another quick way that's kind of diffusing. But when we're breathing those in, they're going into the lungs, and they're picked up by the capillaries and taken right into the bloodstream. And then that just gets rushed around the body really quickly, literally in a matter of minutes. So it can be a really quick and effective way to use essential oils because they get through everything so quickly. I'm bringing this one up because remember when I was talking about one of the pieces that was so important in getting to a healthier lifestyle or getting back to health with my kids was removing a lot of the stuff that wasn't contributing to health. It was probably taking away from the health. And Thieves is such a potent essential oil that they've put it in a whole bunch of different things. And one of the things is the Thieves Household Cleaner. And this is literally, you can get rid of everything that you can think of in your house pretty much and just start using the Thieves concentrate. You just literally take a capful, you put that in an empty spray bottle, fill it up with water, and you now have a really fantastic all-purpose cleaner. And it can do your countertops, it can clean your bathroom, and it literally just cleans everything because it has those essential oils that are in Thieves in there. And it's just, it smells so wonderful. Instead of you like feeling like you need to go get your gas mask in order to clean your bathrooms or your house, you can use this really safely. And it ends up only costing maybe about $1.50 to make one spray bottle. And if you go to a place like Sprouts or Whole Foods, something like that, you're probably paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 to $6 for an all-purpose spray. So you get, this is the smaller bottle of these. I think it's 29 bottles of an all-purpose that you can get before from that bottle of concentrate. Okay, I'm losing my place here. Okay, let's talk about frankincense. Someone was asking me last time I did this class, they're like, what is that picture? That's actually the bark of a frankincense tree, and it's really a long process in order to get frankincense essential oil. So there's the frankincense tree. Someone has to go out to the frankincense tree, and they have to know what they're doing, and they sort of scrape the tree. So it's almost like they injure the tree, then the tree responds by creating what's known as frankincense tears, and that's what you see on this picture here. Then those frankincense tears have to hang out and sit on the tree for a while, and then, I guess cure, and then they can be harvested, and then that resin is taken and turned into an essential oil. So that's what you're looking at, because I don't think of it because I recognize it, but for someone who hasn't seen that before, I wanted to explain that's what it is. So frankincense is kind of the crown jewel of the oils that are in that starter kit. Frankincense is one of the more expensive oils, which makes it kind of a good value that it comes in this whole collection. It is so great for supporting a healthy immune system. I didn't love this oil when I first smelled it. It's one of those oils, and this is something to keep in mind. When you smell an essential oil right out of the bottle and you go, ooh, I'm not sure I care for it, don't give up on that oil, because essential oils can smell a little bit different when they come out of the bottle, because there are high, medium, and low notes, and those high notes, they flash off, and then the medium and the low notes are hanging around, and sometimes those are the ones that I like the most. So frankincense, to me, when I smell it directly from the bottle versus if I put it in the diffuser or if I take a drop and I put it in my hands, immediately when I smell it, those lighter molecules are popping off and just going away pretty much. And then if I smell it about 30 to 60 seconds later, then I smell that woodsy balsam smell that's just so relaxing and calming, and it's the one that I associate with the smell of frankincense. So just a tip on that one on using oils. So if you don't like it right out of the bottle, still try it in your diffuser, or at least take a drop in your hand and give it a shot. But it's great for immune support. It's excellent for supporting soft tissue repair. Now, if you're an athlete, you could use it on joints and muscles with some Panaway. It's great to promote normal repair and promotion of circulation in that area. This is also a good one that's good for the neurological system, the brain, the spinal cord. And I mean, that's pretty cool that it supports two really important systems in the body, the immune and the neurological system. I love to use this one for keeping youthful, toned skin. I mentioned earlier that I create that skin serum where I take the jojoba oil and I'll mix it with lavender, frankincense, and copaiba. I'll do about 5 drops of each in a bottle, one of those glass dropper bottles that's about this big, about a 1 ounce bottle like that. And it's just one of my favorite things to make. I make it over and over all the time. This oil, of course, has some historical significance. It was given to the baby Jesus, so there must have been a really good thing. A lot of people have used this in prayer and meditation just because of the molecules in it and the impact that it has on the brain, and just being calming and soothing and allowing us to focus. It can sometimes allow us to open up our mind and get a little bit more in touch with our spiritual side of things. Let's talk about purification next. This one is definitely a numero uno favorite oil of moms. It's got citronella, rosemary, lemongrass, tea tree, lavender, and myrtle in it. And one of the reasons why it's a favorite of moms is because it can really help get weird, funky, stinky smells out of your house. It's incredible for removing smells that you just don't want around. You could do something like take a cotton ball, put a couple of drops of purification on it, and you'd stick that into some stinky shoes or a gym bag. I know some people that will leave cotton balls in their RVs or their boats or their cabins, or things like that when they close them up, or trunks, stuff like that. You could even add, here's one interesting use for it, you could add 4 drops to a whole can of paint to help out with those VOCs, those molecules that kind of make paint stink when you're painting. It's also a great oil for teen skin, so you could just apply it where needed. This is also one that it's another good skin oil. So if you're not best friends with bugs and you're going outdoors and you're going to be dealing with mosquitoes and bugs and you kind of don't care for them, you can apply the purification on topically just to kind of soothe things. And I already told you what the oils are in that. It's just got a really great fresh scent. Another use that I like to do is I get those wool dryer balls and I'll put a couple of drops of purification on my wool dryer balls and I throw those in the dryer to scent my laundry instead of using dryer sheets. Guys, stop using those. Those are really toxic and they're bad for you. Another thing that, I talked about weird smells. So for those baking mishaps, this is a real picture, a real story. This actually happened in my house. I asked my son to help me with taking the cookies out while I had to run another kid to the school, and I come back to this smell, you can imagine, and I took care of it really quickly. I just put purification in the diffuser and it was gone in no time at all. Okay, another oil that is a really good one in this collection is called RC, and it stands for Respiratory Comfort. And it's got 3 different kinds of eucalyptus in there: myrtle, pine, spruce, marjoram, lavender, cypress, and peppermint. And it's just fantastic for supporting the respiratory system. It just kind of keeps air moving through that respiratory system really well. You can put that one over the chest. Remember what I talked about using water or moisture? So you might apply RC over the chest and then take that hot, moist compress towel. So you could do dry towel, hot, moist compress, and then another dry towel over it just to kind of lock in the heat. And that moist heat is just going to drive those oils in where you want it to go. You can diffuse this one. How I tend to use this one in my house is in the fall, in the winter, in the springtime. Sometimes we have it in the bedroom and we'll be diffusing that. You can kind of pick whatever you want to diffuse in the bedroom. If you've got little kids, you could make a diluted version of this and just add some RC to it and then some carrier oil, and then you'd have a roll-on, and then it's ready to go to just rub on the throat and the chest or the back over the lung area. It's a great one. So it's the big one. And it also, there's one other oil that if you pair them together, like maybe you layer an oil, so you put one on and then you put the other oil on. RC paired with a blend that Young Living has that's called Raven, R-A-V-E-N. That's a really wonderful combination. Let's talk about Digize. Guys, do not go traveling without this essential oil. You really want this one no matter what. If you're traveling to Mexico, to India, someplace where maybe the diet is a little different than what you're accustomed to. If you're traveling and maybe you've got kind of a specialized restricted diet, this is an oil that you always want to have on you. It's really amazing for digestive comfort and digestive support, especially if you've got any specialized dietary needs. It also helps you just make sure that you're digesting your food properly and keeping that pH going. You can use it topically right over the tummy. Now, some people, it feels a little too warm for them. So remember when I said you would use a carrier oil over the top of it? Some people, there's been discussions about, do you put the carrier oil on first and then the essential oil, or do you put the essential oil on first and then the carrier oil? It depends. You might want to put the essential oil on first, then the carrier oil, because that carrier oil kind of locks it in where you want it to be going, the essential oil. But you could do it either way. It's not going to reduce the effectiveness of the essential oils. So you could apply it topically. You can also put it in a capsule and take that internally so that it goes into the digestive tract where you actually want it to go. And one little interesting fact about Digize is Young Living uses this on the farms. They use it in the soil in order to help with the pH of the soil, just to help balance that. Okay, the next oil is Panaway. And Panaway is kind of the oil for athletes. It's so fantastic for applying like on shoulders and knees and back. Just on a normal daily basis, you're creating some strains in the body just from walking around or moving or lifting weights. And this is really a good oil blend to support that. It's great for joint and soft tissue support. If you're kind of one of those weekend warriors And this is one of the must-haves. I keep this in my tennis bag. I'm a tennis player, and you just never know when you're going to want to pull this oil out. And so I like knowing that it's in there no matter what. And it's that kind of that oil that when you think you're younger than you really are and you're going out and doing an activity, you might want to come back and use Panaway. One of my favorite things to do is take like a big cupful or 2 hands full of Epsom salts, and you could put a couple of drops of Panaway in the Epsom salts and then throw that into a bath, and it makes such a wonderful soak after working out, or just maybe just sometimes just having a normal day and you just want to sit in a nice relaxing tub. It's got wintergreen oil in it, which is incredible for soft tissue support. It's also got helichrysum oil in it. Now go look this oil up. Helichrysum will blow your mind on all the things that it does. So definitely go do your research on that one. It's got clove oil, which I mentioned is really high in antioxidants. Peppermint's really great for circulation. And you know what's interesting about this oil? It kind of smells like root beer. So a lot of kids are normally drawn to that. They're like, hey, that smells like root beer. And it provides kind of like that cooling sensation. Okay, Stress Away. Stress Away kind of explains, I love the label of this because it tells you exactly what you're supposed to be doing with it just by its name. And who doesn't need that? Most of us have to deal with some sort of a stressor on a daily basis, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, chemical. We might always need that extra support. And we know that through research that the number one thing that causes the nervous system to not be as healthy as it should be, that's stress. Just period. So if we can use an essential oil to kind of help take everything down a notch through our daily lives, that's always a good thing, because our bodies, like I mentioned earlier, we're designed to be functioning normally and to be functioning perfectly. And sometimes through our environment, things just get out of whack. But we can always get back to that equilibrium and get back to that normal function. And essential oils can be one of the tools that we can use, including diet and, of course, getting sleep and exercise, that kind of thing. Put this one in your diffuser. So I said that lavender tends to be the one that people migrate toward. And what people don't realize is this oil, when you get your kit of oils, like you see a tray and it's got 10 oils on the top, lift that up. And then there's this white thing that you lift up, and underneath there's like a secret compartment where you've got the Stress Away oil, your samples of Ningxia Red, your little tiny bottles, sample bottles, and some other stuff in there. So don't forget to go looking for that when you get your starter kit. And a lot of people like to put this with a roller ball. So how you would do that, I don't have mine handy, but you would pull out that milky plastic one, the orifice reducer, and you'd put the roller ball, and the cap actually causes it to pressure fit in. So you just screw it on there, and then you could use the cap if you want to turn it back into a dropper bottle again. Then you use the cap to jimmy off the roller bottle and put that back in, and then you can use it like you did before. Okay, another reason to use Stress Away, right? Like if you're a mom and you've got this going on, you can use your Stress Away. Let's talk about Copaiba. Copaiba is like one of the most powerful oils that comes in the starter kit, but it's kind of a quiet essential oil. It doesn't have a really strong aroma, and it's one that can be used directly on the skin. So it's a really gentle oil, yet it's super powerful. It's one that will potentiate or enhance other oils that it's paired with. It's in some of our blends, like it's in Stress Away, and it's also in Deep Relief, which are just really amazing oils. It's got a really soft aroma, can go directly on the skin, and it's soft tissue's best friend. So it's a good one to put on those joints, ligaments, and muscles. It's excellent for digestion, for keeping your digestion healthy. And it supports connective tissue by allowing and helping vitamin C to get inside those building blocks of all the tissues, and helps with repair and support even quicker. And one interesting fact about it is it's more than 55% CBD. And there's a whole movement of talking about using cannabinoids like that are found in hemp oil, only it's not hemp oil, just so you know, but you can get the same benefits in the body with it being 55% cannabinoid. Some people will take a drop of the Copaiba Vitality under the tongue. They just find that it just sort of relaxes and soothes them. It's a great one to add for digestion, immune, everything. It's just kind of like your jack of all trades oil. It's a great essential oil. You can't talk about essential oils without talking about nutrition a little bit. And what Young Living's answer is to that is Ningxia Red. This is our antioxidant drink. It's great for cellular function, just normal cellular function. We don't want abnormal cellular function happening. We want normal cellular function happening. And we can do this through basically a food, which Ningxia Red is a food. It's just a squished berry, dark berry drink. And it's great for sustaining energy. You don't have any of those harmful side effects from like coffee or any of those things that'll keep you up at night. And what a lot of people say, sometimes they'll say, well, I drank it and I didn't notice a huge amount. Well, just wait until you stop drinking it. That's when you're really going to notice it. And that did happen to me years ago. I got some, I was drinking it, and then I ran out and I didn't have it ordered. And then I was out, and that wasn't good. And I thought, okay, I'm never going to be out of that again. So I just started working it into my grocery budget, and it's just a food as far as I'm concerned. It's got, wolfberry is kind of one of the more important ingredients in there. And the wolfberry provides a whole bunch of necessary aminos that we take in through the diet. And this is, important, of course, for vegetarians. It's got potassium in there, zinc in there, there's fiber in there. It's great for helping prevent oxidative stress. It's great for normal eye health. It's just good overall. So if you're a person and you kind of forget to take multivitamins and supplements and that kind of thing, but you can probably remember to do a shot or 2 ounces of a juice that's sitting in your refrigerator, this is a really good, easy way to just flood the body with some good nutrition. And antioxidants, just for some people, if you aren't familiar with what they help do is neutralize the free radicals in the body. And free radicals are something that make us age a lot faster. So we want to slow that kind of thing down. This just shows you a whole bunch of things that just drinking 2 ounces of Ningxia Red a day can do. Normal cellular function, just overall wellness, immune response. Some people find that they crave sugary foods a lot less when they start drinking Ningxia Red. So that's something that can be helpful. Supports a healthy cardiovascular system, healthy joints and muscles, and restful sleep. So it's just an easy thing to add. Now, most people get started. Some of you already have your premium starter kit, and some of you, maybe a friend invited you to come take a look at this and learn a little bit about essential oils. And this is just one of our starter kits. That's the one with the oils. So you can see that you get that the 10 oils and the Stress Away, some samples of Ningxia Red, the rollerball, all that kind of stuff. So if you're ready and you are thinking, okay, I'm ready to get started on this essential oil journey, go back to the person who told you to come take a look at this. They'd be more than happy to help you get started. And you want to get their Young Living number because that'll help you link them to them. And that's just going to plug you into our community, all of our resources that we have, our education, our training, and we'll just help you on your journey. And because sometimes people get a little overwhelmed. They're like, 11 bottles of oils. I don't know what to do with all of these. So we're here to help you. We don't want you to do this all alone. I mean, I remember feeling overwhelmed myself. I didn't know that there were even books out there. What you get, Young Living gives you a really great little magazine type thing. There's all kinds of recipes in here and uses. There's a little card that comes with the collection of oils that gives you a couple of, that's in with all of the package of papers, that gives you a couple of uses that you can use your different oils for. So at this point, what I am going to do is I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop recording.